All right, let's get us started. Grab your ball. We are just going to put it behind our back or whatever you're using. I like mine in between my shoulder blades. A little higher, a little lower is always fine. We're going to start with just a little arch and curl our back. You're going to support your head as you take a long, big inhale and just find your arch over the ball. And then as you exhale, nod chin toward chest and curl forward. And we're just getting moving through our spine, kind of testing our range as we roll back on those inhales, and then nod chin toward chest and curl to come back up. Maybe every time you get a little bigger breath as you like stretch your spine over that ball, and then that stomach pulling in to get that curl, and even that little pelvic tuck that kind of gets the movement in your low back so that our whole spine gets to move on these, draping back over the ball. And then that curling to come out. Make sure you're not yanking on your neck. It's a support of your neck. If anything, you're giving yourself a little traction as we go back and forth. And of course, this is great core work. Let's do one more of those. Nice big inhale, rolling back over our ball. Exhale as you come up, and then we're going to do what I call my corkscrew version of these. Sometimes I like my feet a little wider for these. Wider makes you feel a little more stable, and we are kind of trying to hold our hips nice and stable. You're going to roll down one side of your back. You're going to do a little twist. I like to take my time and really let that ball kind of dig in a little bit, and then curl up the other side. And then you're going to go down the other side. You're going to inhale for half. Feels like a fancy side bend back there, and then curl to come back up. And your feet and legs are just kind of your anchors. You're pressing them in a little bit so you have a nice stable place to bend and twist your spine from. Of course, take this to the range it feels okay. You don't have to do as big as I'm doing if you want to stay up a little higher and do that side bend and curl up. Play with it. Just kind of keep moving, keep breathing. That roll back, little twist to the side and curl back up. Let's do a couple more on each side. Inhaling for half. Remember, you should not feel strain on your neck on these. You gotta let go in your neck, maybe let your hands support you a little bit. For me, that feels like pushing my head back into my hands. And then just curling up. Awesome. All right, let's come up. Let's get rid of our ball. We're gonna go to some roll downs with our band. Wrap that band around your feet. These are your roll downs, right? Roll downs can be hard. Bend your legs. If you need to anchor your feet, do what you need to do. You're just gonna start rolling back. Inhale for half, exhale. I like to do a one or two at least with my knees bent. Coming back up, inhale halfway, stretch your spine forward. Bonus, can you press out with your arms and get that stretch your back feel? And then roll it back down. At any point, you want to straighten your legs, rolling down to the mat, and then curling back up. Inhale halfway, stomach muscles up and in, stretch everything forward, and then roll right back down. We're just getting that nice flowy movement through your spine, and just make sure you're doing it where it works for you. No right or wrong. Remember, yours does not have to look like mine. Roll back down. Every time you do, I need to get a little bit more of that curl through your back, or take a couple more. Inhale halfway. Exhale, belly button to spine. Press out with the band, gives us a little bonus strength work, and then bring those arms back in. As you roll down, we got one more here. Inhaling halfway. Exhale, we're going to do that spine stretch. Let's just hold that one, maybe an extra little breath. Maybe you want to wiggle, shift around. As we roll down, we're going to leave the band on that right foot. We're going to go into our little band, I don't know, leg band series, we'll call it. When you get down there, both straps, one in each hand is a nice way to start this. Elbows anchored. Your left leg could be bent. If your hamstrings, backs, legs are tight, bent leg might feel really good. If it's there for you to stretch your leg straight, go for it. All you're doing first is stretching the back of your leg. Like, can you pull the band towards you where it is a gentle little stretch? Remember, stretches do not need to be and shouldn't be like super painful and giant. They should be just like a little bit stretched further than those muscles normally go. As we're there, let's do a little point and flex of our foot. Point your foot and flex your foot. It's kind of like that secret of stretching. Like, we're just gently taking our muscles, we're stretching them out a little bit longer than they're used to be in, and then we hold it. And the more time you hold, the more times in your day when you stretch your muscles out a little longer, they decide they want to be there. And so that's what we want. A little point and flex. All right, let's go into a little action here. You're gonna point your foot, reach down, press into your band. You're gonna come all the way down, maybe a little tap of your foot at the bottom. Flex your foot, reach through your heel. When you come up, it's your gentle stretch place. I like to maybe hold it just a little second and then do it again. Point and reach on the way down. Flex your foot as you come up. Make sure those stomach muscles are engaged, pulling up and in as you come back up. Inhale, we're gonna press down. It's almost like your leg's getting longer every time it goes down. And then as you come up, we feel that lengthening through the back of the leg. Inhaling as we press it away. Exhale, we're gonna flex and reach through the heel to come up. We're gonna do one more there. You can always kind of like wrap your hands around those bands a little bit too. Sometimes it's a lot of holding our band work. All right, we're gonna come to the top. Now we're gonna do a couple of these like the windshield wiper version. I like to take both of my straps into my right hand, but you can leave it one in each hand. Either way works. You're gonna inhale, take the leg out to your right side, and you're gonna find your stretchy place out here. You're gonna try to keep your left side anchored. Exhale, you're gonna bring the leg back to center. Inhale, we're going out. Our stomach muscles are still in. This left side of us is anchoring down to the mat, and then we bring it back up. Inhale as you reach, find your stretchy place, although I always say like the whole thing is really a stretchy thing for me. Everybody's gonna be a little bit different on that. Let's do two more there. Inhale, reach. If you do things like flex your foot, that might be a little more stretch for you. If you pull on that band a little bit to pull the leg closer to you, that will be a little more stretch. Find your edge. One more on there. Big inhale, reach it out. Maybe we wanna hold that one for just a little longer, just to give those muscles a little more length time, and then bring it back up. Now we're gonna go across our body. Again, both a strap in each hand is great. I often switch and put it into my left hand here, and then I like to anchor my right arm out to the side. You play with it, find what works for you. You're gonna go across your body first and keep your hip down. Once you get to the like end of that range, then lift your hip and rotate across. However far that feels good for you. Use your stomach muscles to pull your hip back first, and then bring that leg over your hip. So we can inhale, reach across, lift the hip if that's there for you. Exhale, stomach muscles, get that spiral in our back, bringing our hip back, and then our leg. Inhale that press, that same thing where you flex your foot. We'll give you a little more. If you pull on your band, that's gonna change that angle. Hip comes down, our leg comes back up. Let's do two more there. Inhale as we reach. And then that exhale as you're coming back up. We got one last one there, that reach across. Lift the hip. Maybe let's hold that one a little bit. Flex your foot, play around with that angle. Just be in a place where it's a little stretched, not extremely painful, remember. And then bring your hip back, bring that leg back. Good. Take your foot out, do the test. Right, check out that leg, move around in space, and then check out the other leg and see if you notice that difference. And then of course we get to do the other foot. So you're gonna get your other foot in there, toes, balls of the feet. When you get there, we are starting with your just stretch the back of your leg. Give yourself a moment to find it. The right leg could be bent, the right leg could be straight, just depends on what you need. And just be there, because it usually takes a few moments to kind of settle your hip in. Let that left hip be anchored. Just kind of find your stretch. Maybe you can straighten your kneecap, or like do that thing where you like pull your kneecap up and in, your quad tightens a little. That'll give you a little more stretch. Then can we play with just a little point our foot and flex our foot? And we're in that range, and then we're just, especially you'll feel it, of course, right on that flex, that you go just a little bit deeper into that stretch each time. Inhale and exhale, and you keep reminding that left hip to sink in, to settle in, and flex. Let's do one more. And then we're gonna go into that movement where we're gonna point our foot and we're just gonna stretch our leg away from us. We're gonna tap it down, and then we're gonna flex our foot at that ankle. Come back, find your stretchy movement at the top, maybe a little hold. And then do it again. Inhale, reach. Stretch like it's getting longer. Flex your foot as you come back up, and heavy hip as it comes back up. Inhale, that band reaches out, it gets longer. And then that exhale coming up, kind of hanging out as long as you can in those stretchy moments for you. We got two more. Inhale, press it down. exhale, flex it as you come back up. Our back is nice and stable throughout these. We're just moving our leg so we get that mobility and that little stretchy moments. All right, let's hold at the top. We're taking our leg to the left, to the outside. I'm gonna put my bands in my left hand, but you can keep holding how you were. We're gonna go out to the outside with that leg, and then you're gonna bring it back up. Time your breath. Inhale, out, 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 little hold moment. And then that exhale as you bring it back up. Which kind of means you gotta do those nice, long, slow, big breaths on purpose. And then bring it back up. We're always checking in with our other side, our stabilizing side, our right side. We're pressing our heel in and kind of opening up the front of that right hip. I think we got one more. Let's hold this one. Let's get out there and just like your hold spot. Can you be there a little bit? Maybe you pull a little bit on the band, put your stomach up and in to support your back. And then we'll bring it back up. And then we're going to cross our body, and you can decide how you like to hold your band. I'm going to take mine into one hand. Remember, we go across the hip first, and then you get to lift and get a little spiral in your back, and then stomach muscles pull in, and that hip rolls down, and we bring the leg back. And then we do it again, and play with your foot. Maybe you pull your toes way back towards you as you reach, reach, reach. And then stomach muscles pull in. We roll the hip down, and then bring it back. Leg reaches across first, and then we rotate, rotate, rotate. Maybe pull the band towards you a little bit, and then bring that hip and that leg. Let's do two more of those. Long, big breath. And then that exhale as you bring it back center. We do one more of those. This is our one. We might just hold it a little extra. Right? We might get out there, be at a place where you can just be there. Breathe. Kind of appreciate all those stretches. Maybe you want to wiggle, maybe do some like circles or move your foot around in space, anything. And then hip comes back, leg comes back, and hopefully that leg feels much better now, much happier. Okay, let's bring our band to the ground. We're doing a little hip movement next. We're going to start with just our tuck and arch. Get your feet set up. Maybe they're hip width, maybe they're a teeny bit wider, but comfortable for you. And let's do a pelvic tuck around your low back. Tip your pubic bone away, create a little arch in your low back. Just start rocking back and forth, using our stomach muscles, using our leg muscles. I like to kind of focus on the massage effect, where it feels like you're kind of pushing your sacrum, pushing your backside into the mat as you roll, because it does give a little massage on those tissues, which loosens them up, brings some like blood flow to that area, which is always a good thing. All right, let's come back to our middle ground, our neutral. We're gonna do some circles. So pelvic circles, where you're going to start, I'll kind of do them nice and slow to start with, pelvic tuck. From the pelvic tuck, you kind of start to shift your weight to the right. And then I'm gonna go into a pelvic arch. So my pubic bone tips away, I got the space in my back, and then I shift my hips to the left. And then I come back to the tuck. Once you find that, you can make it a little more flowy. You can kind of make little circles, right? You have, if your pelvis was like a bowl of water, you'd be like sloshing it around. A little circular action, right? Tuck to the side, tip away to the other side, and just circling around in space. Let's go the other way. And just noticing, check in with your legs as you're doing this. Like, they might move a little bit at first, and then I always try to think, okay, can I leave my thighs still, or as still as I can, and just move my hips in that action? If you find like you're really swinging those legs around, play with that a little bit. And okay, let's come back to center. Let's just get a little bridging in. We got both directions, didn't we? I think we did. Okay, press our arms in. Let's do pelvic tuck. Lift your hips. This is your bridge, right? Whatever it is today, we're lifting our hips up, and then we're rolling down, and we're getting lots of movement in our back. We're trying to peel down one vertebra at a time. We get that glute engagement. We press up so our thighs get a stretch. Our arms are pressing in. As you roll down, tip your head back into the mat. Give yourself lots of neck space as you roll down and bring it back. Inhaling as we roll up. We're just going to keep doing some flowy ones here. Just practicing moving up and down. It's such great strength work, such a good exercise It's the things I feel like we all need, that glute and hamstring strength, as well as just the stretchiness as you roll up and roll back down. Let's do one more there. Let's do this one as our hold one. So we're gonna do that tuck, lift our hips up and roll up. And this is just your hold. Sometimes I like to move my shoulders underneath me. Can I push my feet down, lift up through my hips, press my arms down. Just feel that strength work on your backside to be there. Let's take one more big breath. Check in, your neck has some ease, and then take your time and roll back down. Curl down through your back. Release your hips. We're going to take it into our little figure four stretch, whatever side you want to start with. Cross one ankle over the other knee. If this is a stretch for you, you get to stay here. You can play with tipping your pubic bone away from you. You could play with rocking side to side. If you're like, yeah, that's not doing much for me, then maybe pick your other thigh up and reach up. And I like to hold on to it, so I feel like I don't have to work too much for it. Versus like holding your head up, I would say rest your head if you can. And then play around. If you want to move in this, we're going to hold it. We're going to take maybe a minute here and just be in this figure four stretch because it's so good for us. Things that help me are the tip my pubic bone away from me. Sometimes I'll kind of rock in and out of that, tip away. That's where I find my stretch. And I try to just hang out there as long as I can. And just remember that if you're a person who loves to just hold a stretch, hold a stretch. If that drives you crazy to hold a stretch, don't hold the stretch. Do some movement. Sometimes I like just to like rock and move a little bit. I'm still in my stretch. Like I can still feel that in my glute. For me, it's in my glute and up in my leg a little bit. But again, it's okay to do a little movement on there as well. As you're there, remember to breathe. Let's do just like 2 more breaths there. And then just give yourself a little moment to unwind. Shake it out and then do your other side. Cross one over the other. Sometimes one side is a lot tighter than the other. It's funny, I always do my easier side first and then I get to the second side and I'm like, oh, okay. Tip your pubic bone away. If you need to pick your leg up, pick it up. If you don't, you can leave it down. Like me and have a tighter side. Just go to where it's that gentle stretch. Remembering it, you don't need to be like, dying with, it doesn't feel good or hurts, but just that rock side to side. If you want to pick your leg up, and we're just holding this one. All right, so we're getting just like a minute. Just kind of a good time for holding stretches, right? Minimum with stretches, they say like 30 seconds. I just go with that theory. Like, let's spend as much time as we can, whether it's our workout or even out throughout our day, taking our muscles just a little further than they like to be, just gently stretching them. The more you do that, the more they will stay flexible, lengthened out, all of the things. Don't forget to do some nice big breaths as you're here. All right, and then we get to unwind. Unwind a little bit. Let's grab our ball for under our hips or whatever you're using underneath your hips. We are gonna lift our hips up. We're gonna start with our little psoas stretch, hip flexor stretch. Get your ball in a place that's comfy. This can be just a nice place just to hang out a little bit if your low back is tight. Sometimes that just feels really good just to be there. We're gonna go into, let's start with our right leg. You're gonna bring that leg to tabletop, stretch it straight, flex your foot, and then we're doing our super slow as molasses, lower this leg down all the way to the floor. Our back is trying to not move as the leg lowers. That gets harder and harder when your leg gets lower. You also want to pay attention to your hip bones. So when your leg gets lower, especially if your front of your hips are tight, oftentimes the tendency is to tip your pelvis away. If you can not do that, don't do that. You might have to eventually get down to the bottom, do a little bit of a tip, but you're going to reach. When you get to the bottom, slide your heel out a little extra. So there's that, I call it the stretchy moment. And then you're going to bend your leg in, kick it back up, and we're going to do it again. Flexed foot, slowly lower down. Okay. And think about how can you use your muscles as you're lowering down. Can you kind of engage your quad muscle on the back of your leg and feel like you're pushing your heel across the room? This idea that like every time your leg comes out, if there was like a little marker in the bottom of your foot, the mark that it made would be a little bit further away from you every time you came down. All right, let's do that a couple more times. Bend it in, kick it up, flex that foot, slowly lower, right? And find all your muscles, find all that reaching out. You're doing the work to get long, long, long. Check in every once in a while. Are you pulling your belly towards your spine, keeping your back stable, not letting it arch or not letting nose, hips arch? When you get to the bottom, maybe you slide a little further. Remember, your mark is a little further out each time. Let's do one more there. Bend it in, kick it up. Even our foot and ankle work on that. Like if that feels some work to you, that's okay. Like we're actively pulling top of the foot and toes back towards you. Gonna stretch out that back of the leg. Reach, reach, reach. Slow, slow, slow. The last few inches. See how slow you can go. This is our last one on this leg. Slow when you get to the bottom. When you get down there, stay. We're gonna stay for a little bit. Right? Our little mark on the floor is as far away as it'll go, and we might even push our heel out a little bit further as you're there. And then let your leg kind of ragdoll. Shake it out a little bit. Take a breath there with the ragdoll leg. And then bend it back in. And then we're doing the other leg. Ooh, and sometimes I like to do like the little test, like do that leg and then do the other one, see if you notice the difference. And then we'll go to the other one when you're ready. Bend your leg in, straighten your leg, flex your foot, slow lower. Hands can be where you like. Sometimes I'll put them like on my hips or on my rib cage here or my belly, just so I kind of can feel what's going on. Can remind my stomach muscles to pull in as my leg is super slow lowering down to the mat. When I get there, I'm going to do a little slide out. And then you're going to bend it back in. Tabletop leg. Kick the leg up, flex that foot, and just work your way down. And of course, it's fine if you're not exactly with me, if you're at home, just keep moving. And stomach muscles in, you're breathing, you're challenging yourself in that bottom range to go as slow as you can, but still keep moving. Always feels hard to me. Get down to that bottom, get that little like push out, stretch long. And then that bend it to come back in. All right, let's do one more there. That reach up, flex that foot, slow lower. Remember how we're using our muscles. We're pushing out. That little marker on our heel, that when that comes down, this last one on here, it is like as far away from you as you could possibly get it. And then we're gonna stay, gonna flex our foot and see, could we, using our muscles, slide our leg out a little bit further, hold it, which feels like a lot of work, and then let your leg ragdoll a little bit, maybe let it shake out a little bit as you're there. And then you get to bend the legs to come back in, right? I like a little wiggle in my hips before I go into this next series. We are gonna take our legs up to the ceiling. If you have a ball like me, it's a little wobbly. It is extra core work. A roller or something like a yoga brick will feel a little bit more stiff here. Let's go into some scissors. We're gonna split our legs and do a reach, reach. How big you go is your working level. So you can definitely take a nice big kind of stretchy reach of the legs, but that means your core has to work a ton so that your back does not arch or move around and feel safe to you as you're doing them. I like that little reach, reach, where the second reach is like stretch your legs a little bit more. Use your muscles to lengthen a little bit more. Reach, reach. It's not a bounce, it's a reach, reach. Let's do one more. Reach, reach. We're gonna meet up top. We're gonna get a little helicopter in. We're gonna do one big scissor, two big scissor, open the legs to circle around. Scissor, scissor, open, circle to come around. Keep your breath going. Remember, our core is working a lot. Our arms are pressing in. If you're feeling your triceps, I am too. You gotta use them to help you stabilize. If you're gonna keep your body still up on that ball while we do these fun little helicopters, open and circle. Let's do one more. Scissor, scissor, open, circle around. Let's do some bicycles. We're gonna reach out, bend our leg, pretending we're riding our bike in the sky up here. Same thing with these as far as range. You can do a nice big range, which can kind of feel nice and stretchy, but make sure those core muscles are kicked in so that your back is stable. If you're taking that big of a range, go ahead and reverse, dip your toe down, reach out into space, keep cycling, keep breathing, all of the things. And then we're gonna take those legs up to the ceiling. We're gonna do one more fun one here. Pilates V with your feet. I want you to really squeeze your heels. And we're gonna do a slow lower. Your working level. So maybe this is just like an inch as you come down. You're like, oh, that's it. That's as far as I go, not changing my back. And then bring those legs back up. Let's go down. 1, 2, 3 is your hold. Could you hold it there for a little bit? And then exhale, bring it back. Inhale, lower it down. Could you push your heels together and activate your butt a little bit more? Exhale to bring it back up. Lower it down. Turn out the legs a little more to get the heel press. And then bring it back down. Let's do that. Lower, lower, lower. Go to where you can hold it. Let's stay there. Inhale, you're going to open the legs. Exhale, zip them together. Inhale, open. Exhale, zip them together. Zip them together. Open and back in. We got one more. Open and back in. And then you can bend those legs to come back. Go ahead, lift your hips. Roll out of there. Let's come up to seated. Let's get in just a little rolling like a ball in front of your mat, because you guys know it's my favorite. You're rolling like a ball. And if rolling like a ball isn't there for you, you just practice your balance up here at the top. You maybe do some little ones, and if it is, you'll roll, lift your tail and rock back, rock forward. I always like a few nice open ones where I'm just keeping my legs nice and open, and I'm finding that curl of my back into the mat. And then after I've done a few, maybe I'll tighten up a little bit, challenge. Right, massaging our back into the mat, curling back, curling forward. Let's do 2 more things. Inhale and exhale and rock and come back up. Oh, somebody's got their phone on, or somebody's got their sound on, and coming back up. All right, let's open our legs. We're gonna get just a little spine stretch in. Open your legs as wide as you need. If you need something to sit on for this, definitely grab it. Take a big inhale. We're gonna exhale, curl forward, round our back. When you get down to the bottom, 2nd, 3rd exhale, and then a big long inhale to stack yourself back up nice and tall. Exhale, we're gonna curl down, round it down, stretch, stretch, stretch. Inhaling as you roll back up. One more here. Exhale, round down. Deep belly pulls up and in. If you want to take a little like stretch, you want to grab your feet, give yourself a little pull down. Any of the things. Roll yourself back up. We're going to go right into a little sawtooth. We're going to take our arms out. Take a big inhale. Exhale, we're going to rotate, curl, press through our arms, get a little stretch, stretch. Inhale to come back up. Our goal on this is, could we keep our hips and legs still? Rotate, twist our spine, press through our arms. Inhale, we'll come back up. Exhale, rotate. You might need to bend your knees on it. You might need to kind of sit up on a little pillow or something if that helps you. And come tall. Get that rotate, twist. Feel that upper back rotate around by really reaching through those arms. Let's do one more on each side. Rotate, curl, and that press, press, press. Inhale as we come back up. Exhale, rotate, and that reach, reach, reach. And then coming up. Nice job, guys. Let's flip to our belly. Let's do just a little, actually we're gonna go, not even all the way to our belly. Let's go to all fours. Let's do a little swan here. I want you to start off with a swan. So we're in all fours. Our back is very tabletop-like, very like you could sit a drink back there. And from this position, could we lift our head, pull our shoulder blades together, and extend our upper back? If you peek at me on this, you'll see like I am not moving very much. It feels like a ton of work, but I'm not moving, because what I don't want is I don't want you to dump in your low back. I don't want you to just sink to your low back. It's not that movement today. I want you to see if you could keep your low back stable and just push the mat away. Pull your shoulder blades together and gaze up. Right, and come back down. So it doesn't look like a lot of movement. It feels like a ton of work because that's a hard place for us to move in our back. So we do that little lift and lower. Let's do that one more time. Just that little bitty And then you get to do like full cat-cow for a moment. You get to push the mat away. And then you can do that, lift your head. Now, it's still not a dump in your back. You can move through your low back, but keep it supported. Do one more like that one. That push away around your back. And then that articulation. Stick your tail out, lift up. Come back to that rounded back. We're going to do a little roll ourselves up. We're going to take this right into my little, I call it the falling cat. So here we are, nice and upright. Our hips are forward. We're going to try to keep our thighs nice and vertical. I got my knees and feet about hip width apart. You're going to try to curl down, and it does feel like you're going to fall. You got to work with your muscles to keep your thighs upright. You're going to try to gently land your fingertips first, roll through your hand to get to your palms, and then you're going to take the little cat arch, extend, pull your shoulders away from those ears. Reverse it, go back to your round spine first. Really push into the mat, and then roll to those fingertips. Thighs press forward as you roll yourself back up. Go right into your next one. Curl, curl, curl. Fight that like wanting to fall feel. Land on your fingertips. Roll to your palms. Get that. Lift your head. Get longer. Stick your tail out. Reverse it. Round your back. Roll up to those fingertips. Try to push your thighs forward so they stay vertical that whole time. Oh, I feel like we should do one more of those. Best one. Curling down. Feeling those back sides really work to get those thighs to stay vertical. Land fingertips to palms. A nice little extend. Let's stay there in this one. You get a bonus. Neutral spine first, or table tap, and then do a little pull your shoulder to your hip. It's like fancy little side bend. And then unwind, come back center, go the other way. So you get all that length in one side, and kind of feel that work in one side to kind of squeeze everything together, or find that side bend. However you want to look at it. Inhale, use some breath. That always helps. Let's get a little more movement. Let's do one more on each side. Last one here. When you get back center, we're coming out of our falling cat. We're going to go back to that super round spine. Hips are forward. Roll up to those fingertips. Push your thighs and hips forward and roll yourself all the way back up. Arms come around, and then we're all done. Oh, always goes by so quick. Thank you guys for joining me today for a little midday movement break.
Thank you.